Hi, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the next part of our first chapter, that is typical configuration of a computer system. So the next part of this chapter is components of a motherboard. So the key component of a motherboard is CPU or processor. All of you know about this. So actually, it is a main component of a motherboard. It is also known as a brain of a computer system. It consists of three major components, that is ALU, CPU, and registers. So ALU is responsible for performing almost all the arithmetic and logical operations that is required by the processor during processing of a data and instruction while executing program. Our next part is a control unit. Control unit is responsible for uh, organizing processing of data and instructions. Because it has to get the data and instruction from the memory, it will organize the data as well as instruction in the form of a program. It bring the data and the instruction from the program to processor. So it also controls and coordinates all the activities of other components of a computer system. Then registers are nothing but a temporary storage area which are useful for holding data, instruction, and intermediate results during processing of a programming instruction or during processing task. So during processing, CPU gets the data and instruction from memory. It will convert the data and the instruction in the format which is understood by the computer, that is called interpretation. Then the program instructions and allow the it will perform a required task that is specified in the form of an instruction within a program, and finally it will generate the result and send the result back to main memory of a computer system. From that, the output data is displayed either on a screen of a computer system or it is printed over a printer which is connected to the computer system. Actually, the CPU speed is determined by the number of instructions processed per second. Per second. So usually its speed is measured in terms of MIPS, MIPS or BIPS. MIPS stands for million instructions per second or billion instructions per second. The next characteristics of CPU is clock speed. So the clock speed is a rate at which microprocessor or processor executes the instruction. The faster the clock speed, more instructions of the more instructions the CPU can execute. Means if the clock speed is high, more number of instructions can be executed by the processor within a per unit time. So usually the speed of a CPU is measured in terms of hertz. Nowadays, the present day computer systems, present day CPU speed is measured in terms of gigahertz. So here, the next part is usually what happen. Central processing unit is fabricated as a single integrated circuit. Means within a single chip only, the entire CPU is designed and it is fabricated. So that's why it is also known as a microprocessor. So microprocessor is an integrated circuit which has the capability to process the given data on the and instructions. Usually microprocessor is plugged or it is fitted on a motherboard of a computer system. So the most popular company which involved in the design of a microprocessor or CPU is Intel. Intel is one of the leading processor manufacturing company in the world. The other companies include Motorola, Zilog, AMD. AMD stands for Advanced Micro Devices. So Texas Instruments, Cyrix, etc. These are the names of companies which are involved in the design of a microprocessor or central processing unit of a computer system. So the next part is bus. So actually bus is a collection of wire which carries data, address and control signals. So bus is nothing but, or even a bus is nothing but a set of wires which carries one bit of data. So a computer bus can be divided into two types. One is called internal bus, another is called external bus. So internal bus connects all the internal components of a computer system like CPU, memory and other components of a motherboard. It is also known as a system bus. So the external bus connects all the external devices like external peripherals like printer, monitor and other output devices like a plotter, etc. So it is also known as a expansion bus, and this bus is slower than the system bus. So the internal bus is also known as a system bus. The system bus further contain other three types of buses. One is data bus, another one is address bus, third one is control bus. So data bus carries data signals between different components of a computer system. Data bus is bidirectional because it has to send and receive the data. That's why it is a bidirectional. Since data is transferred in both the direction, means it will send the data and it will receive the data. Next one is address bus, which carries the memory address or peripheral address from the CPU. Means sometimes what happen, usually the output is sent to the memory after performing certain calculation over the data provided through the input devices. So after generating a result, it will retain the result in a memory of a computer system. So each memory location is identified with suitable address. So usually address bus carries the address of a memory location where the data is to be placed or from where the data is to be brought and displayed on the screen of a computer system. So thus address bus is unidirectional because its work is to get the data, since it carries the signals from processor to RAM and from processor to IO devices. Next one is called a control bus, which carries control signals between different components of a computer system. So control bus is bidirectional since it controls the since control signals have to be carried in both the directions. Now, general example I can give you for the control signal read and write. So read is a signal which is received by control bus in order to carry out a reading of a data from the memory devices. Similarly, write is a signal which is used to write some data into the memory of a computer system. I hope you understand this concept. Next part is the data bus transfers the actual data, whereas address bus transfers the information about where the data should go, and the control bus is used by the CPU to direct and monitor the actions of other function areas of the computer. So as I told, it generates a read and write signal, etc. in order to carry out certain reading and writing operation over the memory devices. The next part is I/O ports and interfaces. So I/O stands for input output ports, and I/O stands for input and output ports and interfaces. So ports are nothing but sockets where external devices can be connected with the computer system. Similarly, interfaces are nothing but a set of cables that are used to connect various devices with the computer system. For example, monitor has a cable. So power cable you are connecting to the monitor. Then it also contains a data cable which is interfaced with the central processing unit of a computer system through the system unit, which usually the data cable is used to get the data from central processing unit and display it on the screen of a computer system. So the cables used in order to connect various components of a computer system are known as the interfaces. So as I told, ports are nothing but a sockets on the system unit. It acts as an interface between user and motherboard and external devices. Similarly, ports and interfaces are used to connect external devices like keyboard, mouse, monitor, printer, etc. to the computer system. So there exist several types of ports like PS2, USB, VGA, LAN, audio, serial port, parallel port, HDMI, firewire port, etc., which are shown in the figure. You can refer this figure in order to know the type and different types of ports and how they can be detected on a motherboard on a system unit of a computer system. See, a green color port is called a mouse port, where we can connect a mouse with the computer system. So this port is called a keyboard port, which has a violet color, purple color. So you can use this port in order to interface a keyboard with the computer system. Apart from this, we have serial port and parallel port. Serial port is used to connect serial devices like modem, etc. Then parallel ports are used to connect this one parallel cable. Usually this cable is provided for the scanner, printer, etc. So next we have a VGA port. VGA stands for Visual Graphic Adapter. So this port is used to interface your monitor with the central processing unit of a computer system. You can find this port on a system unit of a computer system. Apart from this, you are familiar with the USB port, where USB devices like a memory card, pen drive, etc. can be connected. Then we have audio ports. So actually these sockets are provided in order to connect external speaker to the computer system. And here you will find one more socket, that is to connect a LAN port, that is called a LAN port, where LAN cable can be inserted. So usually LAN stands for a local area network. In order to establish a local area network, we can connect many computers together by using this socket. I hope you understood this concept. So now I will give you the explanation about this each and every port which is available on a motherboard of a computer system. Let us start with VGA. So VGA is a 15-pin port, and usually it is used to connect monitor with the system unit. So actually this is called a VGA port. This is used to connect a monitor, interface a monitor with the computer system. So next part is USB port. USB port is used to connect various external devices with the computer system, like external hard disk, memory card, then pen drive, external devices, keyboard, printer, scanner, everything can be connected. Around 128 devices can be connected with the USB port. USB stands for Universal Serial Bus. It is a 4-pin port. So we will study in detail about the USB in next part. Next one is a PS bar 2. It is a port which is provided on a motherboard in order to interface a keyboard or connect a keyboard and mouse. So this port was invented by IBM. Next one is called parallel port. A parallel port is a 8-bit or 16-bit port which is used to connect external devices like printer and scanner with the computer system. So in early days, this port was used to connect various output devices and input devices with the computer system. But nowadays, this port is replaced by USB port, because USB port is easy to connect, and around 128 devices can be connected. Nowadays, instead of using parallel port, most of the computer manufacturers uses USB port in order to connect the external devices with the computer system. The next one is a serial port. So serial port is a 9-pin port. Serial port transmits only 1 bit of data at a time. So typically, very old PCs, a modem, mouse, a scanner were connected through the serial port. So serial port is also known as a communication port or COM port. So these ports are outdated nowadays. Next one is called LAN port. LAN, as I told, LAN stands for local area network. In order to set up a local area network, we need to interface a cable from one system to another system. So this port has a provision in order to connect a cable which is used to connect various computer systems in order to form a local area network. I hope you understood this. Next one is audio port. So audio ports, as I told, in order to connect external speaker, we are using audio port. Next one is called a external graphic port. So external graphic port is actually inside the system of inside the motherboard of a computer system. There is a provision where we can connect AGP. AGP stands for advanced graphic card. So advanced graphic card can be interfaced with the game kit and other external devices through this port, external graphic port. So AGP stands for accelerated graphic port. So this port is also used in order to do the same task. That means we can interface a game kit and other multimedia application kits with the computer system. Next one is called USB. USB, as I told, USB stands for Universal Serial Bus Port. So actually, this is a new external bus developed and released in the year 1996 by Intel. Intel is one of the leading manufacturing CPU manufacturing company. So it is also involved in the development of USB ports. So it is a smarter and a more versatile port. It allows up to 127 devices. That means you can connect 127 devices, or you can interface 127 devices, external devices, with the computer system by using this port. So almost all peripherals like printer, keyboard, mouse, scanner, etc. can be connected with the USB port. So USB port is known as a plug and play port because soon after connecting a external device with the computer system, it detects that device and allows the user to operate that device. So in early days, what happened, if you want to use any of the device, each and every device has its respective software. We have to install that one, then only we can utilize that one. Otherwise, computer system never allows the user until and unless he configure that system device in a computer system. But nowadays the system changes. So USB is a plug and play, means soon after connecting device, it will detect that device and allow the user to carry out certain operation by using that, or it allows that device to perform certain task. So printer can be connected with the before the invention of USB port, printer was connected with the parallel port. But nowadays most of the devices can be connected with the USB port because of the advantages of plug and play. I hope this you understood this one. So note, we have three types of USB ports: USB 1.0, 1.0, 2.0 and 3.0. So USB 1.0 has a data transfer rate of approximately 12 megabits per second. 12 megabits, not bytes. 12 megabits per second. USB 2 has a data transfer capacity of 480 megabits per second, and USB 3 version 3 has a data speed of about 5 gigabits per second. Most of the recent devices uses USB 3.0. So the cost of a USB also varies from version to version. Next one is called SCSI. SCSI stands for Small Computer System Interface. So it is used for adding external devices such as high-speed hard disk, scanner, CD-ROM driver for fast data transfer and I/O operations. So these ports are very expensive. Nowadays they are replaced by USB port. Power connector. So separate power connector circuit is provided. So where on the backside of a usually on the backside of a system unit or cabinet of a computer system, you will find power connector where a cable can be connected interface with the mains power supply in order to get power to the computer system. Next one is called Firewire port. So it is invented by Apple and used to transfer large amount of data at very high, very fast speed, and it is used to connect cam recorders or camcorders and video equipments with the computer system. Suppose if you want to capture and store video recording in our computer's memory, by using this port you can interface a cam recorder equipment, then you can record the video clips and store them in a computer's memory. It becomes very fast. Next one is called modem. Modem stands for modulator demodulator. Nowadays, suppose if you want to avail the internet connection from the internet service provider, modem is required. So modem connects PC's modem with the telephone line. So DVI stands for Digital Video Interface Port. DVI port, Digital Video Interface Port. So it connects flat panel LCD, liquid crystal display monitor. You are familiar with this monitor that you are studying first year. Liquid crystal display monitor with a computer system. So it has a graphic card. It is a video graphic card, so through which we can interface the monitors. Next one is called a sockets. So sockets are used to connect to microphone. Separate sockets are provided on the motherboard. As I told you in above this one picture, I have shown you the three sockets which are available as a audio sockets in order to connect audio devices with the computer system, like microphone, speaker, etc. can be connected with these sockets. Next one is called MIDI port. So MIDI stands for musical instrument digital interface port. So usually it is used to connect musical instruments with the computer system, so that we can play the music and recapture the music tones and store them in a computer's memory. Usually such an kind of devices are used by musicians in order to create music and capture the music and retain the music stored in a computer's memory. Next one is called as a expansion slot or IO slots. So usually expansion slots are nothing but provisions that are provided on a motherboard of a computer system, where we can connect or interface different cards with the computer system. So expansion slots are slots into which controllers or add-on cards such as video card, sound card, NIC. NIC stands for network interfacing card. Network interfacing card, etc. can be connected with the computer system. So usually they are plugged in a expansion slot. Usually they are plugged in a expansion slots. So expansion slots enable CPU to communicate with the peripheral devices such as and usually expansion slots are also used to expand the capability of a computer system, so that different devices can be connected in or interfaced with the computer system. So since input output devices called peripherals can be connected to the expansion to expand the capability of a computer. So apart from these slots, we can also interface networking interface card, video card, in order to enhance the graphical support to the computer system. A network interfacing card is used to establish a networking connection with the computer system, etc. So various types of slots are available on a motherboard of a computer system that will study under types of IO slots. The IO slots are designed for installing plug and play devices with the computer system or with the motherboard of a computer system. Some of the IO slots or expansion slots on a motherboard are PCI. PCI stands for Peripheral Component Interface. Peripheral Component Interface slot. So this is a 32-bit slot used to install the expansion cards such as a network interfacing card, internal modem, TV tuner card, and other such devices that can be interfaced with the computer system. So usually on a computer system we'll find 2 or 3 or 4 PCI slots on a motherboard. So the next part is PCI expansion slot, PCI express slot. So express slot is a 16-bit slot which offers data transfer at the rate of 8 GB per second, and which is necessary for most of the graphics intensive PC games, etc. Next one is called AGP slot. So it is used in early days computer system for additional graphics capability. AGP was developed by Intel. AGP card was developed to enhance the bandwidth required by the 3D games. So usually this AGP advanced graphical card can be interfaced with this board in order to play the video games and in order to support high quality graphics. Next one is called ISA. ISA stands for Industry Standard Architecture Slot. So it is one of the olden days. It is one of the old slot which has a low speed, and it is a 8-bit slot used in a PC way, which were introduced at the beginning. Nowadays this is out of date. Next one is called Enhanced ISA. EISA stands for Enhanced ISA. ISA stands for Industry Standard Architecture, and VL slots. So actually these are known as a faster. Just a minute. Okay. So this is a 16-bit faster slot or bus or card which were used in early day system. Nowadays they are outdated. Next one is called memory slot. So usually suitable amount of memory is required by each and every computer system, because in order to install the various softwares and in order to play those softwares, suitable amount of random access memory is required. So RAM slots are provided on a motherboard of a computer system where you can install or connect RAM chips. So RAM chips of various sizes are available in the market. You can purchase them and you can connect them, those RAM chips, over the memory slot. So RAM consists of a small this one electronic chip which are mounted on a modules. So the provision provided on a motherboard of a computer system where you can connect the RAM chip is called a RAM chip slots. So RAM chip slots are provided on a motherboard in order to connect different kinds of RAMs. So there are two types. One is called SIMM, another is called DIMM. SIMM stands for single inline memory module. DIMM stands for double inline memory module. So both the type of slots are available on a motherboard of a computer system. Next one is a processor slot. So usually it is used to insert a processor on a processor socket. Processor slot is nothing but a processor socket where you can connect the processor with the on a motherboard of a computer system. Next one is called PC card. So usually such an kind of a cards you can find on a laptops of a computer laptops, and usually it includes Wi-Fi card, networking interfacing card, and other external modem. So next one is a disk controller. So in a desktop and laptops mainly there are two types of disk controllers. So actually disk controllers are nothing but cables or cables that are used to connect disks like hard disk of a computer system, floppy disk of a computer system, CD-ROMs. Then apart from this, we can also connect to USB, memory card, then pen drive, etc. with the motherboard of a computer system in order to carry out reading and writing operation. Usually, these devices, the storage devices, can be connected with the computer system by using disk controller. So generally, mainly we have two types of disk controllers. One is called IDE or EIDE. Second one is called SATA. IDE stands for Integrated Digital Electronics Drive. So means both in a hard disk of a computer system that you are studying first year. So it is possible to carry out reading and writing operation by using certain mechanism that is known as a integrated drive electronics mechanism. So which enables the hard disk of a computer system to carry out reading and writing operation by using certain control systems. So that system is provided. That system is known as a IDE. So EIDE stands for enhanced, means advanced integrated digital electronic system, which is used to carry out reading and writing operation on a memory devices. Similarly, one more disk controller called SATA. SATA stands for Serial Advanced Technology Attachment. So it is also one kind of a modern cable which is used to interface storage devices with the motherboard of a computer system in order to carry out reading and writing operation. So the 40-pin IDE controllers were the 40-pin IDE controllers. Just a minute. Okay. The 40-pin IDE controllers were found in an early Pentium motherboard, but nowadays they are replaced by SATA controller. So SATA controllers, so I will show you them in a figure. This is called a SATA disk controller cable, and this is known as a IDE disk controller cable. So this cable is replaced by this one, red color one. Nowadays red color ones cables are used in order to interface storage devices with the motherboard of a or CPU of a computer system. I hope you understand. You can read that one. It is a brief description about it. You can read it. So the floppy disk controllers are also provided on a motherboard of a computer system, but nowadays floppy disks, nobody is using a floppy disk. That's why they are outdated. Next one is called, okay, stop here.